Everything's using it. They're like, we have all this power. How do we use it?
Right.
Just looking for reasons.
It's crazy when you think about it, what you can do with a phone nowadays. Apple just recently had this worldwide developers conference.
They have it every year.
Yeah. WWDC. Anyway, one of the things they announced in this thing was the fact that they're going to be adding a feature where you can use your iPhone to scan your inner ear and give you like a shape of it to better set up spatial audio, which sounds really cool.
It's interesting because that's always been a common issue with spatial audio. It doesn't work perfect all the time. And they're solving parts of the equation, it seems, because now they have control over the headphones. They're shipping headphones, so they know at least what you're playing it back on. So you could kind of tune it up perfect for that model headphone. And now if they're doing a rudimentary scan of your ear, they could help adjust the tuning to compensate for your particular ear canal.
Yeah, and I think, didn't they initially say something that this is more going to be for their earbud style?
Yeah. I don't know if they specified only one model. I don't know. Probes only. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Because I'm thinking, ultimately this could work on the over-ear too that they make. Why
you
not?
You would assume. I don't know why it wouldn't, but maybe initially. Who knows?
Because once they have a photo of your entire ear, the over-ear could implement too. But maybe their priority would be what's out there, what's you know what I mean?
Right.
But what more people own than anything, which I guess would be
Well, it's quite interesting because they're leveraging hardware that already is in your phone. And I don't know if they specifically said how old of a device they're willing to use. It could be that there's hardware differences over the years and the older iPhones don't work. But iPhone 10 and up have the hardware that they're allegedly going to use. So we'll see if they support those models in the future. But that'd be pretty interesting because there's millions of those devices out. And it'll be really accessible for people to be able to do a rudimentary scan of their ear and presumably tailor this algorithm they're using to give you your spatial audio a little bit better for you.
Yeah, they didn't say how it's going to work, but I'm just going to assume that it's like exactly like setting up your iPhone's Face ID.
Yeah, but for your ear. Yeah, I don't know how you really see it.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. But
maybe it'll give you audio feedback or something while you're like rocking this around your ear.
That would be cool.
How that'll work.
Yeah, like you have to like
out of the earpiece.
Yeah, because for people that don't know, when you're setting a Face ID, you look at the phone and it has like a little guide. It shows you how to move your head around.
It shows you a little green.
So the little projector could see your whole face as you move it around. So when you pick the phone up, and if you're a little off axis or whatever, the phone knows what your face looks like normally.
That's when that's when you're training it to know your face.
Yeah, the first time when you set it up,
it's reading it.
Yeah, and presumably you'll do that for the ear.
I'm assuming it's making some sort of vector diagram of your facial in a 3D form.
Yes.
Of your facial characteristics.
That's why you can't just show it a picture. Yeah. Because that's flat.
Yeah, right.
It's interesting technology because it's like sort of complex, but also very basic and cheap to implement. Because that's why it's in phones right now. They're not putting like a $500 sensor in these things. And there's videos all over the internet, but it's pretty cool. They have a little IR transmitter thing, emitter on there that sends out, it's like a little projector, right? It prints out a dot pattern, right? And so it knows roughly the size and the spacing of these dots. And then it could tell from the distortion of these dots as they're projected onto an image, it looks at it with a second camera and says, okay, how are these dots distorted? And it could guesstimate depth and whatnot.
What do you mean by second camera?
There's a little projector thing, and next to it there's an IR camera.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because this is infrared. You can't see it.
That's why otherwise you'd be seeing everybody's face is lighting up.
And the normal cameras that you use to take pictures with usually have IR filters because otherwise they get weird issues when you're outside.
So they're not actually using the front-facing camera.
No, it's a separate camera. So it's a projector and a camera that's totally separate.
And then another camera.
But when you project this dot pattern onto the surface, you'll get distortions because the dot pattern will kind of like radiate out, right? And the dots here will look different than the dots that are further back. And the camera will be able to guesstimate the shape and the depth of the object from how these dots get distorted.
Yeah, so technically you could probably, to a certain degree or depth, make a 3D image of
Yeah.
going into your ear.
A little bit. Yeah.
We don't know how far,
Yeah.
but I mean, I guess far enough to potentially make a difference.
I wonder if they knew that they were going to do something like this, or how far out.
Well, I mean, others are doing it, right? I mean, in a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not,
Not
as
with a
widespread
phone,
as
yeah.
being able to just take your phone and go, wow, look at this. But I mean, they're doing it with what I think they use the audiologists are
Yeah.
using lasers to read the way inside your ear.
But that's purpose-built hardware.
Well, that's true.
This is cool because it's cheap, mass-produced,
Yeah.
and already available.
It's in your
made to read
pocket
your
already.
face,
Yeah.
right? But now they're making it read your ear, which is technically possible. But over those short distances, I wouldn't think it would have enough resolution. But maybe they don't need that much. Maybe it's just like a rudimentary guess, and it
Yeah.
gives you a better estimation than you would otherwise have.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, you only need so many dots to,
Yeah.
to draw a line. And if you, especially if you see depth, if it can perceive the depth, I guess
Well, it knows
it wouldn't
depth
take
reasonably.
much. You could make assumptions, and what I'm saying in the algorithms, like they do with the cameras nowadays. You know, you take a photo of the camera, and it's like, well, that isn't what it really looks like. But,
Yeah.
but the whole thing, it makes it look like it thinks it looks. You know what I'm saying?
We're seeing a lot of that these days.
Adaptive photography, so
AI.
to speak.
Yeah. Especially on any modern phone, you take a picture and you immediately go to your camera roll. It's usually fuzzy for a few seconds.
Yeah, right.
Because
Yeah.
it's like chugging
Figuring
through
it
some
out.
super complex AI algorithm to make it look better.
Yeah.
If you look at the information raw off the sensor, the actual information the phone gets from your camera, usually it's kind of like meh. And what we've seen in cameras, especially in smartphones over the years, the camera sensors are getting a little bit better, but the processing is getting way better.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they're at the point where they have enough horsepower on the thing, they have enough knowledge that they could kind of like make a really good educated guess from the information they're getting from the sensors, even though the sensor may have pretty limited information.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I got out of the whole event. Is on the whole, it seems like they're really leaning into all that their AI, stuff for everything now. Everything's
like it.
using it. They're like, we have all this power. How do we use it?
Right.
Just looking for reasons.
It's crazy when you think about it, what you can do with a phone nowadays. I mean, there's literally, aren't there like millions of apps for the phone to begin
Oh,
with?
there's so many.
A lot of them are redundant, but still, I mean, you think about the things you could do with a phone. It's just crazy. It's a crazy tool that you could hold in your hand. So it's really cool though that the likes of Apple are moving forward with something this. I would call it more application specific, almost.
It's a weird one.
relative to what they would normally do.
Yeah, this is some
you know?
niche. Yeah, seems like it would be like 10 people doing this and that's it. Not like a big company working on something like that.
You would kind of need someone like Apple to do it though, because this has to be super complicated. It has to be difficult to do well. And I think, especially coming from Apple, where they control the device, they control the software, they control the device you're playing it back on, the AirPods or AirPods Max or whatever, that really, having that full circle of control probably really makes a lot of sense for them, and it probably enables them to actually make it good.
Well, I guess also if looking forward, looking ahead, given that, right, they're actually going to use it to improve upon the sound of their devices that already exist.
Then maybe,
Right.
And we're talking hundreds of millions of them, and all of a sudden, upgrade and progress occurs, just by taking an image of your ear.
right. I wonder how that'll go if
Yeah.
they actually use the mapping data.
Well, that's true too,
Right,
because now they can
expanding
come
the
up with an
future.
average. And
They probably don't. They're pretty big on not having anything leave the
Well,
phone.
it wouldn't. Yeah, well, that's true. But it wouldn't be anything. It would just
Yeah,
be.
but still.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But it would make sense to average it.
I
The
mean,
phone.
that's a hell of
Presumably
an
they
average.
already did that,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
not on this scale.
yeah. Well, probably what they're finding, what they did is that it depends on territory,
Well.
where you're born, and your. I mean, so yeah, you're right. I don't know if it would matter, but they could do a human average.
They could.
That'd be wild.
Maybe you could opt in.
Yeah.
Because they do a lot of interesting things like that with health data, which is
Yeah.
really wonderful, where you could opt into various programs on your device and use your biometrics, your data and stuff like that you're normally gathering anyways, and use it for good, right? So instead of having to somehow find people for these various things, like to find 1 million diabetics to test some sort of thing, you could have access to them through Apple's little health portal. And you could get data from these people with pretty much no impact to them, without them having to go out of their way. And it's pretty interesting that they're so open to that, because it's really profound when you have that scale. You have so many people in the world with your devices. And making it a couple clicks away to be able to use this data for good. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you could, relatively speaking, at the beginning, you could get millions of samples a day.
Well, yeah.
Where the hell would you do that? You
It would be
couldn't-
incredibly difficult to
Yeah,
do.
you couldn't do it.
So
You-
expensive if you
you'd
had
have
to pay people.
line up a whole huge city in a line. Just all everyone had, everyone in the whole city would have to go for this test
all over the world.
all
too.
over the world. Yeah. So,
But clearly, the hard part here is implementation of. Anybody needs to be able to do a good quality scan. That's clearly the hard part, because just getting any data,
Yeah,
that
it could be
doesn't help
bad
you.
data. You got to sort through it.
Yeah, so I
Right.
think it's all going to be on how well they have the step-by-step process of doing the scan and how well it rejects any bad.
well, hence
attempts.
version 1.0.
yeah.
You know?
We'll see. I think it's interesting. It's pretty cool that they're using something that's technically capable of doing it to do something that's really on the edge.
Well, that's the thing.
Well,
I
we'll
wonder
see.
if they were planning this the whole time, or if because they started out with Apple TV and calibrating your TV with a
Yeah.
front-facing sensor, and then did someone just go, "Hey, it's a good idea. Let's try out something with audio with that."
I wonder.
If they
Yeah.
just stumbled upon this.
I
or-
would imagine there's no way they were thinking of this as far back as iPhone 10, but maybe.
I think what they were doing is they're probably looking at the general, let's call them complaints that people have in using the earbud style listening. You know, and people are saying there's limitations to it because of where it is. It's sitting in your ear, and it's not tuned for your ear, and of course it could sit in all kinds of slightly different perspectives relative to your ear, and there's no real good way,
Yeah.
or to tune it really. So it kind of when you think about it, I guess they're basically solving a problem that I think their client, the owners perceived, in a very technical manner.
Yes,
I
quite.
think.
But probably simple.
Well, it's simple to
For
you and
you,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, for us, right. Well, that's what they got to do. They
Yeah.
dumb it down
Yeah.
It's
to
cheap
a personal
to deploy,
experience.
but very, very complicated in software.
Yeah. I mean, you think about the engineering that's probably involved in, and I mean, there's a lot more to go. It doesn't end there. It's like, it's like Tesla or SpaceX firing off their first rocket, right? They had to do thousands of them before they got to where they are now, where they're throwing 50 engines in one rocket.
Yeah, it's incredibly
It
complex.
started with one engine, and then it started going, how do we put two together, and then how do we put 10 together, and how do we put 50 together, right? So, yeah, you think about it, it's a process. And, I mean, I could see that getting really refined if you think about it. I mean, if they find it's useful, they could add
Yeah, they would make better
a
sensors.
finer dot sensor,
Yeah.
dot pattern
Right.
to it. Future. If for all we know, this camera already has it. We don't really know the res.
Well,
our
Yeah,
current-
presumably
of our
people
phones.
changed them,
observed
yeah,
it with
yeah.
IR cameras and stuff, but I'm not sure. I've seen a bunch of videos online where people were showing you, at least in the early days, like iPhone 10 and stuff, people were showing the dot projection of the front-facing camera thing, the projector thing. And it's a pretty loose grid. So on an ear, it would be very limited resolution, but they continue to say it's getting more and more secure. So I don't know if that's done in software, hardware, or a combination of both, but I actually haven't seen the modern 13
They do like
dot projector.
maybe they do something like kind of what they do on flat screens, where they shift the image slightly. Each pixel shifts slightly. And
You would need hardware for that,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
the thing,
technically
yeah.
possible.
do something where
They would already had to put it
it's,
in.
it's the reverse of watching a picture. They're it's basically the same thing. They're throwing an image on your ear and then
Right.
looking at it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same as watching a TV
Same
screen.
thing, yeah.
You know, a modern flat
I always
screen.
thought stuff like that was super cool, though, when you take something that's already out there. It's cheap, it's mass produced, you already have it in your pocket, and they're having to do a thing that nobody would have expected. That's actually, hopefully, maybe useful. So I guess time will tell if it actually matters and actually helps, but cool attempt.
Yeah.
We'll see if they could get it to work well.
Very cool.
Well, clearly, if they're talking about it, they already know it works. But
Presumably,
we'll see
yeah.
on a mass scale.
What
it's a
would be
different
even
thing.
more interesting is if you can extract the information you get from it for your own purposes,
Well,
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool if you could use it to actually order custom IEMs.
like for third-party companies.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be extremely useful. I would hope they would share that.
They might.
Because there's probably not too many people. There's probably too many companies on the planet that could utilize it. But for those that could, wow. I mean, you're really honing in on your customer at that point, right? We know what your ear looks like, so what can we do about that? And I don't know if it's any use for what we do right now, but you never know.
Well, they might allow third parties to use their spatial audio programs. I don't know. I don't know how well that'll work, if that's really feasible. I think that'd be pretty complicated.
Well, especially if you had a wider picture, like it may also scan the whole side of your head around your ear. So now you know the depth, you know the contrast or depth difference between your ear lobes itself and the head shape. You could use it to make technically custom
over ears.
Yeah.
Custom
padding.
Custom tune profiles
Yeah.
and stuff.
Custom 3D printed pads.
Yeah, if you wanted to.
You
I
know?
mean, yeah,
That.
the problem is coming up with a way to cut foam custom. That doesn't really work too well nowadays, as we talked about with making ear pads. It just doesn't
Yeah.
exist to do one off. But you could, if you could 3D print a foam piece. Does anyone make any material that actually is
I don't think it would work well
what do you
for an
call
ear
it?
pad.
Porous or not?
Yeah.
You know,
It's not great right
a
now.
cushiony structure.
I haven't seen anything like that that was directly like an ear pad foam.
It'd be
Yeah.
weird stuff to print. I don't even know how you would do that reliably.
Probably
Yeah.
be difficult.
Yeah. You got to like put that, that spray foam you use for filling gaps.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
need a mini thing of that. The head blows that stuff out. I know.
Presumably it's technically possible, but it
great
sounds like a
stuff 3D
challenge.
printer.
Yeah, great stuff.
I saw
That sounds
someone
like a
actually,
mess.
someone was printing a building like that,
Yeah.
which is weird, a structure
Just
out of
out of
spray
foam?
foam. Yeah, it's very messy and very, very
Yeah.
crude.
A friggin' bed.
But it's an interesting concept because it's so cheap and effective in the right context, at least.
Yeah.
Just doing straight walls.
It was actually like a dome thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Have they figured out a way to spray make a latex foam, something that's a little less sticky, messy,
Yeah,
something
great
that-
stuff is a mess.
Yeah, that stuff's bad news. Yeah.
Well, either way, time will tell if this matters, if this helps, if this does anything.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's interesting.
It definitely is.
It's a nice way to leverage existing hardware.
Well, and the beauty of it is, once again, as I said, when they did the high-res music files, and of course we're assuming Atmos came too, and movies and all that, is that they're concentrating more on sound, which is great because video's been the star for too long. And the video's so far advanced now that I think the sound is lagged behind on a lot of these devices to match it. So, it'd be cool to leapfrog the sound forward to make the video more immersive because you got to have both, particularly with
100%,
movies.
yeah.
One or the other. I mean, listen
Yeah.
to a movie with no sound. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. You listen to a movie on like laptop speakers,
right.
Yeah.
it's not doing it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not even close.
Oh, it's not that home theater experience? I mean, that theater experience?
Yeah, no.
not
no.
a
You
laptop?
got to have both. Yeah.
Oh,
As shown by the number of speakers they put in an
actual theater?
IMAX theater.
Yeah.
How many
Usually
are in
they're
there?
pretty
I mean,
front
yeah.
I
loaded.
don't know.
Yeah.
A
A
lot.
bunch.
You're surrounded by it. Yeah.
I'm always impressed how bad the audio is at theaters because the picture's fine, whatever. It better will be better, but I'm not like, wow, this picture's awful. The audio, a lot of times, kind of is.
Yeah, it really depends on the
bad.
theater.
It's usually lacking.
The
Oh,
bass
yeah.
is just garbage and it's in some corner, distant.
Yeah, you
and
could do better
speakers
with a
sound
5.1
terrible.
at home.
And as it pans across, all the speakers sound different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, yeah, that's the problem with the center channels behind the screens,
Yeah, you're projecting it through a screen, which
Yeah.
eh,
Yeah, which they're worried more about the screen than they are the
The
transparency.
Well, yeah,
the sound
otherwise you can't make the
transparency.
holes too big. Otherwise, it's like, where's all these holes in this?
Yeah,
screen?
right.
If you do sit in the front row, though, you can see them,
Yeah.
and that's annoying.
See, ultimately, what they need is a Apple Theater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
everyone's just wearing
Oh.
headphones.
what they need to do is DSP it for your seat somehow.
Oh.
Do some sort of destructive interference that somehow
Oh,
causes.
actively for everybody?
Yeah, it's like a 3D shutter thing, with
Oh,
shutter
yeah.
eyeglass thing, but for sound in every seat individually. So everyone has perfect stage separation and whatnot, perfect imaging in every seat.
Get on that.
I think where that would fall apart is when you're chewing popcorn.
Chewing popcorn.
Yeah, your ears are moving around.
Oh, yeah.
Your jawbone. Yeah,
That's a big
screws
issue.
Up,
Popcorn industry is pretty big over
screws
there.
it up. Yeah, the crunching.
Yeah.
Then sucking through a straw.
Well, no, you just have to there's like cameras and everything watching every person, and it looks at your jaw, how it's moving, and then it
Yeah.
compensates for that.
Get
No,
some
no,
sort
you
of
just
like
prop up your phone
popcorn
on the
AI.
seat in front of you. They give you a holo, and then your front-facing camera just deals with it.
Oh, yeah, Apple
All
again,
the
yeah.
phones are communicating to the theater. Yeah, they know exactly where you are.
This is getting complicated.
yeah. See, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they'll
Well,
maybe
baby steps.
Maybe we just gave Apple an idea or two. They'll come up with
Yeah.
something to do. With it.
They're going to watch this video and be like, you know what, that's brilliant. Let's patent that. We thought of it first.
Eureka! Oh, wait, that's a
Yeah.
vacuum cleaner.
So you sit down in your seat, you put your phone in front of you, and then
Yeah.
magic happens.
So there you go. We see a couple minutes, we could solve all the world problems
yeah.
right here and right in front of this camera.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, we better get the hell out of here. Or wait, we're not getting out of here yet. We got to
No.
get back to work, and
That's
then
right.
we can get the hell
That's
out of
right.
here.
Oh.
That's the way it works. Thumbs us up if you like this, people. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to click
Subscribe.
subscribe.
Leave a comment talking about your feelings.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. But subscribe. Yeah, we got to get past. We're hitting 13K subscribers, and I like to
Yeah.
get to 14 because I don't like the number 13. So the quicker we can
Should
get,
be like 128.
yeah, right. Agreed.
1,000.
Yeah, we deserve that, don't we?
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.